Every Friday, I give you a mix of Russian news that I find significant. Not my typical kind of message, not analysis, not forecasts, but update on events that I find significant. I try to mix in sarcasm and humor, well, you all know that. But the news that are coming out of Russia these days, they're mix of madness, craziness, humor, and tragedy at the same time. You know, that'd be hilarious if they weren't so sad. Well, today's Friday, another news update for you. I usually look for various news reels and pick the ones I find explain what really happens in Russia well, but not today. Because Vladimir Putin unexpectedly, well, I certainly did not expect that, gave a long speech at St. Petersburg International Economic Forum. Not really a speech. I certainly did not expect that. Not really a speech, but a bunch of news updates that I was really looking forward to finding, picking desperately today. So I'll be quoting what the Russian president said today in his speech. No news needed, no sarcasm needed. What he said was actually pure gold in some way. So without further ado, let's jump into the most significant news of Russia and into the most significant newsmaker of today's Russia. Let's do it. Howdy, everyone. My name is Konstantin, and welcome to Inside Russia, where I give you news updates that I find important and explain what's really happening in Russia these days. What you will not find on my channel is lies, BS, and propaganda. What you will find is truth, common sense, and logic, and emotions, because I am a human being. Inside Russia is where usual Russia is explained by the unusual Russian, and usually for first 30 or so minutes I give you a daily message, but today's Friday, and this is a news day. Putin's speech day today. Boy, this is gonna be quite something. Woo! Let's do it. All the news today are coming straight out of St. Petersburg, Russia. Out of St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, the event that happens every year. And the first news is that St. Petersburg International Economic Forum in 2023 is a joke. That's the news number one. When Russia was somewhat influential and rich during the golden years, even before that, St. Petersburg Economic Forum, International Forum, was born in 1997 as a flagship economic event, international event of the country. And since 2005, it gained some significance because Russian president started attending every year and giving speeches. Forum's key audience was the power people, politicians, presidents, heads of states, businessmen, decision makers. Since 2001, the forum was widely recognized as the main economic event in the post-Soviet Union space. Well, the key mission of the forum is to be a practical tool for business, allowing to overcome the barriers separating Russia and other countries, geopolitical, geographical, and informational barriers. Now, did you hear what I just said? Let me repeat. Allowing to overcome the barriers separating Russia and other countries, geopolitical, geographical, and informational barriers. And you know what? In 2023, that is definitely, clearly a big, huge, fat joke. Enough said. Well, the forum was a joke. In 2023, no one significant came. Most things happening at the forum were kind of absurd, like different provinces having stands, some kind of like exhibition stands, with escort girls. Oh, I'm sorry. With Russian folk dancers dressed in historical Russian outfits, clothing. Then Vladimir Putin came out and made a speech that made other absurd things at the forum look totally normal. The guy comes out and says things like, what? Brother, what you smoking? Well, let me fill you in. He said quite a few things. He started out on the results of the previous year, on Russian economy. And on the oil needle. I'll explain what the oil needle for Russia a little bit later. Now, let me quote. The second quarter of last year was the most difficult for our economy, for domestic business, when circumstances, which ones? The usual order of trade, payments, settlements, logistics were rapidly changing, when in fact the entire fabric of business and economic life was being reshaped. Today, we can confidently say the strategy chosen then by both state and Russian business has worked. I'm confused. Last 17 months for Russian economy have been disastrous. Putin is right in one thing. Everything has changed. It's actually still changing. Order of trade, payment settlements, logistics, and much more. Everything has changed. Russia, by its actions toward Ukraine, has destroyed everything for itself, destroyed its own future. I can go on and on about that. You can confidently say that this chosen strategy worked, What strategy? You haven't said one word of the strategy in the last 17 months. Just gave us rare populist speeches. Explain what this freaking strategy that you're talking about is. There is no strategy. The country is in full-fledged war for the second year, and you don't even mention that when you're speaking of the economy. Perhaps someone forgot to take the meds before making a speech, huh? Moving on. The growth of the growth of non-oil and non-gas revenues amounted to 9.1% in January to May, which is noticeably higher than forecasts made before. We have always said, when we will get off the oil and gas needle? Well, gradually this trend is gaining momentum. My God. Out of all resources that Russia has had and has, oil and natural gas amounted to almost half of its revenues. Exports were enormous. And you all know what has happened to Russian oil and natural gas exports. I've said it numerous times, actually. I'm going to make a video and release it on Monday or Tuesday. The half-year update on Russian economy, and it's not going to be a pretty one. I'm going to give you facts, numbers, figures, just to prove that Russian economy is... Now, Vladimir Putin comes out and says, we have always said when we will get off the oil and gas needle. You know what oil and gas needle? Dependency on revenues that came from oil sales, exports of oil and natural gas. That was Russia's curse, in a way, because instead of developing the country, the industries, the government was just raking in on oil and gas money, and it was enough. It was enough for everyone. So we in Russia call it the oil and gas needle, the oil needle. Basically, it's addiction to oil money. Now, Vladimir Putin, what forecasts are you talking about? Give us the forecasts and plans so we can fact check you, because we don't believe one single word that comes out of your mouth. And why don't you speak of what happened to oil and gas revenues? Why do you speak of this meager nonsense, non-oil and gas revenues, huh? Why don't you just talk about oil and gas revenues? Perhaps you can explain why you have made the order to make the statistics on Russia's extracting oil and gas production secret from Russian public? Yeah, why don't you just explain us that in a speech instead of bragging of some meager increase in meager non-oil and gas revenues, Oil needle. Oh, we've been talking about that for so long. This is how you get off the oil needle. This is what you do. You do something terrible and the world simply refuses to buy our oil and gas, and this is how you get off the needle. You are clearly jeering at us. You destroyed our future, the future of our kids, and you are jeering at that. Shame on you. Although you're so far beyond shame. Moving on. Quote, today, our country finances are generally balanced. Whew, sorry. Yeah, the budget is balanced, generally. Yeah, generally is the key word. Whew. Currently, there's a small... tiny federal budget deficit, but this is largely due to the postponement of planned expenditures to earlier dates, or as we say, to the left of the schedule, We took this step deliberately in order to increase the effectiveness of the implementation of state and regional programs. Naturally, additional funds were needed to strengthen defense and security. Oh, really? To purchase weapons, we are obliged to do this in order to protect the sovereignty of our country. I must say that in general, it justifies itself, including from an economic point of view. I was looking at this part of his speech and I was speechless myself, no pun intended. The small budget deficit is a huge lie. Let's start with this. 3.4 trillion rubles already, and this is just federal budget. And then there's a bigger deficit of the consolidated budget. That's federal budget and the budgets of provinces combined, okay? That is already way over forecasted deficit for the entire 2023, and we still have 7 months to go. What is Vladimir Putin talking about? What did he say in his speech? Was he misinformed by whoever wrote his speech, or he was simply lying? Postponement of planned expenditures is another lie. Well, what he meant saying, okay, there's a federal budget, all right, we have to spend, let's say, 10 trillion rubles. So instead of 12 trillion rubles, 1 trillion every month, instead of spending 1 trillion every month, we spent 6 trillion first month, 3 trillion second month, and the rest 3 trillion that is remaining, we will be spending over 10 following months. That's what he meant. That is a lie, because you know what? Every single month, Every single month, starting January, expenditures increase. There's the increasing trend, okay? So that's a lie. So the economy is doing well, right? Okay. What about oil and gas revenues? They evaporated. They disappeared from our lives. That money is gone. Nothing goes to the country anymore. What about Western companies leaving and taking all the technology they possessed and they gracefully presented to Russia and used in Russia, and they took it back? How about many hundreds of thousands of jobs that have been eliminated due to the Western companies leaving? How about all foreign investors and most Russians leaving Russia because they don't trust Russian government one single bit? How about that? So is that normal? Again, lies. To protect the sovereignty of our country, I must say that in general it justifies, I'm quoting Putin, I must say that in general it justifies itself, including from an economic point of view. To protect from who? Just name one freaking country who wanted to destroy Russia, who attacked Russia. Perhaps we have foreign soldiers on our soil. Perhaps we have foreign planes, enemy planes flying over our skies. Perhaps we have tanks rolling over our soil. Who? Perhaps it was from your gang, your friends. Huh? That's who we must protect the sovereignty of Russia from. How about hundred thousands of people, both Russian and Ukrainian, dead? You can't bring them back. That is the justification for you? So all this is justified? Moving on. Quoting, we are targeting the least well-off citizens, the poorest citizens. And if you look at this category of people, their incomes have increased by about 30% over the year. In 2022, 1.7 million people left the poverty zone, moved up, and the poverty level was below the double-digit mark, amounting to 9.8%. You know what? I would love to see the statistics, but no such luck. They just say, well, you just trust us. We're not going to lie to you. You know, we're the government. We don't lie. Ha! So you understand better what Vladimir Putin is talking about. And it's been one of the key points in all his speeches in the past, 10 years, 15 years perhaps. Let's decrease poverty in Russia. Let's decrease poverty. You know what his Russian level of poverty amounts to? 13,545 rubles. Do you know how much it is in American dollars? 163 American dollars per month. That is less than $40 per week. So if you're a Russian citizen and your income is over $40 per week, $163 per month, you are not considered poor. That's just how Russian government cares about the citizens. Moving on. That just gets better and better. I'm sorry. Vladimir Putin called the policy of openness of Russian economy one of the most important principles of economic development of the country. I quote, despite all the difficulties of the past year, war, that's difficulty, no big deal. We have not turned to the path of self-isolation. How exactly do you, Vladimir Putin, call the path that you have turned the country to? International cooperation? All countries have... Russia is the most sanctioned country in the history of humankind. All kinds of sanctions: economic, financial, cultural, educational, scientific, technological, sport, everything. Even Russian dog owners cannot take their dogs to participate in international dog competitions. This is what you have done to Russia. And you have guts to tell us that despite all this no biggies of the last year, we have not turned to the path of self-isolation. Yeah, we are truly a country of international cooperation, the very heart of it, you know. Do you folks know what the newspeak is? Deliberately ambiguous and contradictory language used to mislead and manipulate the public. A mode of talk by politicians and officials using ambiguous words to deceive the listener. Deliberately ambiguous and contradictory language used to mislead and manipulate the public. And you know what? I think I know who is the world's champion of the newspeak is. And double talk too. He's so good at newspeak that he's way beyond the competition, you know. He's out there in space. Moving on. Putin on technological sovereignty. Yeah. I remind you what technological... This is a good one. Let me remind you what technological sovereignty in Russia is. Now, everyone, all high-tech companies that operate in your country, they leave due to you attacking a neighbor, a peaceful neighbor, and they just decide to leave your country, not do business in your country anymore, and stop trading, stop providing their technology to your country. And you find yourself that you have spent so many trillions of rubles in the past 15 or 20 years, and you have stolen all the money instead of putting it into the development of different high-tech industries in the country. That is called technological sovereignty, you know. I quote, "Technological sovereignty does not mean its own production of all goods and services. It is impossible for any country in the world, and it is not necessary. We do not strive for this. It's about having your own solutions in critical areas. At the same time, it is necessary to build reliable cooperation chains, technological partnerships. Here we count on cooperation with the colleagues from friendly countries." I'm sorry, I'm imagining the colleagues of high-tech industries in Cuba, in Venezuela, in North Korea, you know, sitting there with great advancements of high-tech and thinking, well, we're gonna help out the Russians now. Oi. Well, that's a crazy, crazy statement from Vladimir Putin. First of all, he lies. There are countries that are self-reliant. For example, China. Yeah, it does not need anyone, for the most part. Second, he says that, we just need our own solutions in critical areas. And what areas exactly are those? Missiles, drones, tanks, to kill Ukrainians? That's what you mean by critical areas, yeah? And what about friendly countries? What friendly countries? Name one. You know what? He speaks about friendly countries, but he does not name them. This is so crazy. Whew. which friendly countries? India? Yeah, right. China? North Korea? Well, perhaps. Iran? Yeah, right. Friendly, very friendly. Let's move on. Now, Vladimir Putin spoke of the departed companies from the Western companies who left Russia. You see, his speech was divided into different parts. So, I quote, "A notable event and a powerful incentive for our businesses was the replacement of multinational corporations that have left Russian market. Unfortunately, the Western companies could not resist the powerful political pressure of foreign political elites. You know very well, we have never kicked anyone out of our market and our economy." Should I even go there? Let me remind Vladimir Putin, if he forgot, he short memory. Well, I understand, he's a old guy, probably has dark spots in his head. But let me remind you, I have laser sharp memory. You start bombing Ukraine. You take responsibility. You order to kill Ukrainian people. And Western companies don't like that. And all foreign companies don't like that. And they start leaving en masse. The first is IKEA, leaving 7 days after the start of the war. No one pressured IKEA. IKEA just left. It made a decision, and it announced, and it closed the stores 2 days later. McDonald's was next. I witnessed McDonald's closing doors. No one forced McDonald's. It just, Russia bombing Ukraine went against business ethics of the company. Apple left. No one forced Apple to leave. Microsoft left. Siemens left. And boy, Siemens had been in Russia for over 170 years. 170 years. That country went through everything. It went through communism, and it stayed in Russia. It went through World War II, and it stayed in Russia. And it left. Siemens, huge losses. Huge loss of market. All car manufacturers, and they were all present in Russia, they left. No political pressure. So, Vladimir, I hope that you forgot. I hope you're not lying deliberately, okay? But no one was forced. They all left because they're decent freaking human beings. This saying of Vladimir Putin shows how twisted his mind is and how twisted the mind and philosophy of all this clique that is in Russia is. They don't understand that the companies, their biggest value is not necessarily making a dollar. The biggest value is something else, being human, working according to the code of ethics and so forth. Because for the Russian people, for these people who are in charge of Russia, to them, the highest value is money and power. No more, no less. Moving on. In the course of communication with business representatives, requests are increasingly being made not to let left foreign companies back. If foreign manufacturers want to return, we do not close the doors for anyone. Yeah. But the peculiarities of the behavior of some of these partners for the future, of course, we will take into account for ourselves. We will, in other words, we will remember what you've done to us. Those who have stayed with us, and the very few, you can count them on the finger of one hand, are working and are going to work. We consider domestic producers, and we will treat them the same as our own. If I was those companies, Western companies, who are still staying and working in Russia and manufacturing something, and I heard that from Vladimir Putin, I tell you what, I would be very, very nervous. because we know how Putin and his friends treating the Russian companies. This is how they're gonna treat the Western companies now. That's not good. Well, that's another crazy part of the speech. Who is crazy enough to come back after losing so much? Large manufacturers. Now, this is what happened. You do business in Russia, and this is your strategy to develop the market. And usually Russia is the CIS market for companies like Siemens, for companies like Renault, Nissan, for like all big manufacturers. And they had been pumping money according to the long-term strategies to increase the market shares in this part of the world, including Russia. And they had been working very hard to increase the market share. They had been building plants. They had been investing into new technologies. And you could see most of the plants that are in Russia, they're foreign made, okay? And then one event happens, just like that, unexpectedly. And all your plans, all your actions for the past 20 years, they are nullified, okay? All those investments that you had been investing into increasing Russian production, manufacturing, sales, logistics, and so forth. You're building warehouses, gone like that. And this is your loss, 100% loss. You know what happened to large companies like Mercedes, BMW, Renault, Nissan, Renault? They just closed their plants. And they sold their plants. I know Renault sold it to Moscow government for €1. The plant cost €3,500,000,000 to build, and it was sold for $1 for €1. Same thing happened to lots of plants. And the companies, they wanted to manufacture in Russia is much cheaper, okay? And if you manufacture outside and sell to local market. And so many companies, they got burned, okay? Who in the right mind is going to come back to Russia for the decades now? What Russia needs to do, first of all, it needs to realize what it's done. It needs to stop the bloodshed. It needs to repent. It needs to start paying reparations to Ukraine. It needs to start, completely change the system of how it governs the society. It needs to become democratic, and it needs to stay democratic and create the track record for a few decades. And only then companies will start thinking about incorporating Russia into their strategy. I know how these things work. I worked with Siemens so well. I helped Siemens, their office in Austria. I helped them to develop the strategy for Russia. I know how they think. I know how they work. I know what their values. I know what their goals are. And I know disappointment when they made a decision to leave. And I know that they're not going to come back for long time. Russia needs to really prove itself. And then here, Vladimir Putin comes out and says, we will think twice before letting them back. Because our local businessmen, my friends, they like the market empty. Because they stole all the assets of this companies who left, and then they're using it to enrich themselves even more. What can I say? Defense rests its case. Moving on. Putin on neocolonial world global political system and economic system. Yeah, believe it or not, that's what he said. Neocolonial. About the world economy. Let me quote. With some such states, those leaders often do not succumb to boorish pressure, but are guided not by others but their own national interests. The volume of our mutual trade has not even increased by some tenths of percent, but at times and now continues to grow further. Very strange, And this is another proof that the common sense, business energy, objective market laws work more strongly for the current political conjuncture. This suggests that the inherently ugly neocolonial international system has ceased to exist. Well, Russia has been kicked out of international economy, the global economy. I don't know who Russia keeps on trading with, but that's not the kind of trade that any country should be, aiming at, so to speak. They are trying to take this situation and change it completely from front end to the back end, or vice versa. So they're saying it's not Russia's been kicked out from everywhere, including the world's economic system. Oh, it's Russia who helped to change it. So this system of ugly neocolonial international system has ceased to exist. So, this is newspeak again. Moving on. We have never had and do not have the goal of de-dollarization of Russian economy. My heart is beating faster, my friends. This is such a lie. The influence of a particular currency is directly related to the economic potential of the issuing country. The United States has a great economy. That is the merit of the American people. Today's political leadership is abusing the trust of its people. Vladimir, are you joking, right? Hundreds of times propaganda declared, said, stated, shouted out that Russia's economy goal is to de-dollarize, to get rid of the dollar. You said that yourself many times, and now you come out, and you are so fresh, and you are so new, and you are so saying such a thing that is such a contradiction to what you said before and everyone said. You simply say, wait, we don't have the goal of de-dollarization. Well, everything you said before is on record. I'm sorry, but it's 21st century, There are videos of your speeches. There's like transcripts and everything. What the fudge? That is a huge U-turn. But you know what? That's not going to fly. Too late. Moving on. The growth rate of trade turnover, say between China and Eurozone countries, European Union, is even greater than the growth rate of our trade relations with China. When I hear that here you will become dependent on China, and once you get in, you've been in for a long time. You know what's the matter? They got there a long time ago, and nothing. I just quoted Vladimir Putin. That was a very emotional part. Actually, aside from the other lies and everything, that was actually a hugely important part. He gave himself away. He knows the danger of getting under influence of China. He knows. He knows well. He knows he's screwed personally. He knows Russia is screwed. He knows he got Russia into that situation. And he's getting emotional about that, okay? He's letting himself... He's opening himself a little bit, That doesn't happen with Putin. So he knows, and this is a huge problem. Getting under influence of China, huge. He knows so much more than we do. He knows where it leads to. He knows how China is going to take advantage of Russia. He knows. He just admitted it. He gave himself away by his speech today. And as for Europe, Vladimir, no one asked your opinion. Europeans can do anything they want to. They can get dependent on China. They cannot dependent. Doesn't matter. It's none of your business. Moving on. Now, this is an interesting part of the speech. Vladimir Putin said something of me. Yeah, me, Konstantin, personally, inside Russia. Believe it or not. Well, he said about all of us, not just me personally. He said something of people who left Russia, and that is me. I quote, I don't see anything wrong here. I am sure that this process is more positive than negative, because it will be an element of Russia's additional connection with those countries with which we are already developing economic and humanitarian contacts. Please forgive me. Yeah, we're gonna help Russia establish contacts with Uzbekistan. This is great. Let people live where they see fit, work. But that's one thing to live in Moscow, in one of the best cities in the world, with all its architecture, with all the social benefits and opportunities, and it's completely another thing to live in some other city, like Tashkent. It's one thing to live in the environment of your native language and culture, but it's another thing to live in isolation from them. It's one thing to live among friends, a familiar circle of connections among relatives and just acquaintances, from who you want to see from time to time. But it's another thing to be apart from them. And at the end, he said, half of those who left have already returned. Well, that's a lie. That's a lie. Half of those who left, they have not returned. And they don't even think of returning. Very few people. I would say 10 to 15%, or perhaps 5 to 15% are thinking or returned. But there are circumstances exist for every person. Majority of us, and Vladimir Putin, I can answer you personally because you're talking about me and my friends here. You're talking about our Tashkent International Breakfast Club, about 500 of us that get together every morning, every Sunday, and basically every day, we answer you. I gotta keep calm. All right, so that's not true. Very few people thinking. There are some, but very few. But when I read that, at first I started laughing, and I still can't keep not laughing, okay? Can't help it. But the second part is actually very sad. The first part is laughing stock. Of course, we're not going to help Russian economic relations. We don't count on us, Vladimir. You are really mistaken about us. We're very angry at you personally too, and at many, many other Russians. We are so freaking angry. You're going to see our anger sooner or later. But he said very, very right thing, though. He said that it's one thing to live in an environment of your native language and culture and, play in a country that you were born and raised at. It's another one thing to live around your family and friends and acquaintances and your social circle. It's one thing to live in a country where you work, you have built your career, and it's absolutely another thing to live in isolation from them. And that is 100% on. That's not a lie. You should have seen how people have suffered here. They mostly suffered in the winter. Within first 6 months, depression, culture shock, complete hopelessness, hurt, pain inside, PTSD, all kinds of bad things. Putin is right. It is a tragedy. But he's blaming us. He says, well, you left. That's your fault. No, it's not. It's not our fault. It's not my fault. It's your fault. You made the decision to attack Ukraine. You said it out loud on the 24th of February. It's on record. I remember your speech. I remember every single word. I had tears after your speech. All right. I think I've said enough. I think you understand. Let's move on. And he finished off his speech about speaking on nuclear weapons. We have more such nuclear weapons than the NATO countries. They know about that and all the time incline us to start negotiations on reductions. Fudge you, as our people say. That's what he said. When asked how he feels about the idea of possibility of using tactical nuclear weapons as a deterrent, Putin replied, negative. The use of extreme means is possible if there's a threat to Russian statehood. And in this case, of course, we will use all the forces and means at the disposal of Russian state that we can use and we have our hands on. Nuclear weapons are being created to ensure our security in the broadest sense of the word and the existence of the Russian state. But firstly, we do not have such a need. And secondly, the very fact of reasoning on this topic already lowers the possibility of lowering the threshold for use of the weapons. The first nuclear charges will be delivered to the territory of Belarus. By the end of summer, by the end of the year, we will complete this work entirely. Well, it's like an element of deterrence, so that everyone who thinks about inflicting strategic defeat on us does not forget about this circumstance. So he plainly threatens the world with the use of nuclear weapons. The biggest threat to Russia is not the enemies of Russia. They weren't many enemies before. There are now, but they weren't before the war was started by Vladimir Putin. You see, the biggest enemy and the worst enemy of Russia is Russia. It's Russia who shot itself in both feet, in both hands, in the stomach, and laying right now, begging for help from so-called friends, but the friends come and, kick it with their feet. But he still threatens. He's so afraid to lose his power. He threatens the world with the use of nuclear weapons. He will not use it. He will not be let, because there are forces in Russia. And he's not almighty powerful anymore, as I showed you in the previous streams about when I was talking about the civil war. There has been development. Prigozhin is basically wiping his feet on him, showing that the Putin is not the strongest wolf in the pack. Please forgive me, wolves. I don't mean to, insult your species. He will not use them. Empty threats. That is my opinion, and I pray to God that my opinion is right. So, friends, that's pretty much it. I just gave you all the important news updates for today. And all in all, almost every time Vladimir Putin opened his mouth and said some things, some news, some updates, a lie flew out. But that in itself is not news, is it? We all know and we all count his lies all the time. It's really easy to do. His speech is a very sad event. I said when I heard it, I couldn't quite believe that Vladimir Putin in the right mind would deliver something like that, because Most of these things were clearly lies, not true, and they didn't make any sense. Some things were like such U-turns. We all remember, we're not stupid, we just, I mean, how stupid can you be? You have to be then to believe these things. Oh, we've never talked about de-dollarization of Russian economy. What did you talk about then? Why I still cannot, or all Russians still cannot withdraw our dollars from our accounts? That's not de-dollarization? But anyway, this is sad because I found an answer why he made the speech and who his target audience is. Regular Russian people. And the saddest thing is they're going to buy it. They're going to buy it and they're going to swallow it. Because somehow I have a feeling that most Russian people who remain in Russia, they have lost ability to think critically, or perhaps even think. They somehow believe everything that the authorities, including Vladimir Putin, tell them. I don't know why. I have my theory on that. I'm most likely will do a video on that later, but it happened so fast. I knew those people different. I knew those people more energetic, with much more critical thinking, with voices. I remembered those people like that. And all of a sudden, they have become what they have become. And so the saddest thing is Vladimir Putin's speech has targeted them and will plant seeds in their heads and their minds, and the seeds will grow. And how to change that? I ask myself every single day. I work really hard. I get people together. I do other things I don't want to talk about here so much. But I've yet to figure it out. Folks, this has been my message for today. Thank you so much for coming, giving me a chance. I hope you found this message interesting, informational. Not so much amusing as usually the news updates on Friday, every Friday, but hey, it's different circumstance. I will try to do a video on Monday or Tuesday with, usual humor and regular news updates. Vladimir Putin does not speak publicly often, and it seems like he has been losing the grip on his power and on the management of vertical power. So every time he does come out and say something, I watch closely, and I, of course, give you the news. So, before I turn this stream's live stream comments and chatting on, I would like everyone to invite to carry on there and converse, and I'll try to answer questions. I would like to make an important announcement. I've decided to take a little break, not a long one. I'm overworked. I need a little break. I'm going to be leaving Tashkent on Sunday and coming back on Wednesday or Thursday. So it's going to be 4 days. I won't be far from my computer, so there will be updates and perhaps a stream and a couple videos, but it's not going to be streaming every single day. So I'm going to have Sunday off, Monday off, and possibly Wednesday off. So one stream is planned for the next 4 days, and 2 videos and daily community posts. And of course, I will keep you updated daily in Patreon and the sponsors and sponsorship, and on Instagram, some, and on Telegram group called Inside Konstantin's Russia. So if you haven't joined, please join. Would you please help me by spreading this message, making posts into your social media accounts? That actually helps. If you would like to buy me a coffee, I don't mind. Thank you so much in advance. And let's just converse again. I would love to see everyone in a live stream chat, and I will try to answer all the questions. Thank you. The chat's on. Mommy and Lorna, number 1, as usual. Just like that. Thank you, ladies. And Black Cat, Amir, Bob S., Harry. Howdy, everyone. If you're not here, then you are still with us in our minds and our hearts. If you're new here, this channel has the best moderators in the entire world. And the usual suspects, thank you so much for coming back and giving me a chance. Again, thank you, friends. I think I see everyone here except for Harry today. Lorna, Mame, Prince Amir, Bob, Blackhead. Anyway, thank you, friends. Thank you, the usual suspects. I see all familiar faces. Not faces, names, but I kind of like have faces. Although I don't know your faces, they're like in my head already, So thank you. If you want me to see your comment easier or read your question easier, please put it in caps and put Inside Russia after @ so it appears highlighted in a large orange box. Thank you so very much. And I see that there are a couple super chats. Madrox 303, thank you so much from Colorado, USA. Have a great break. Thank you so much, my friend. Colorado is a great state. I hope to ski there, snowboard there one day. Thank you. Support is much appreciated, and your words are absolutely priceless. And Jason Carney comes back with a huge support and no message, but Jason, as usual, your message is huge, loud, and very awesome. I do show Natasha every morning your messages, and she gets excited, so thank you from both of us. Thank you so much. Funky Fudge 11, hello from Poland. Oh, Poland. Every time there's a Polish guy or girl comes here, just writes something, let alone super chats. That really warms my heart. Thank you, friend. As the energy industry person, what's your view on nuclear power plants? Please enjoy your time off. First of all, thanks for coming. Poland is a fantastic country, and then Russian government's been feeding Russians this crazy propaganda on Poland, I'm very sorry about that. I think that power plants currently produce the cleanest and the cheapest energy, electricity. You can't beat nuclear power. Cleanest and cheapest and fairly safe. No more, no less. Renewables are good, but there's a problem. There is no energy storage technology at this point, and there are attempts made, but I think we're far away from the breakthrough. So at this point, again, nuclear is the cleanest, best option. Julie W., thank you for sponsoring 5 people membership. There will be a stream tomorrow. Natasha and Michael will be assisting me in the stream, so please come and join us at the usual time, 9 p.m. Tashkent, noon Eastern Standard Time. Was it 6 p.m. London, I think, and morning, 9 a.m. Los Angeles. So thank you. Jason Carney, thank you so much. Oh, no, that's not Jason. That's Julie. Thank you. Team Tadio, thank you and welcome to Inside Russia. Fantastic to see you here. Thanks for joining. Come back tomorrow on Saturday for a private stream for sponsors and patrons. Jake Allen, thank you. You come back with a message. That's rare. Thank you, friend. Have a nice break. Still too early over here, listening to your message in bed. Thank you. I really appreciate it because it means that you really like the message, that it's too early and you listen to it. Thank you. White Lightning, 777. Thanks, friend. What's your opinion on Prigozhin backstabbing the Chechens? Well, first of all, I don't know if he really backstabbed them. There are plenty of rumors, there's plenty of smoke, so to speak, and I'm still trying to figure out what's going on. So I will definitely keep you informed on that, because this is the one of the basically the major development in Russia. This could be the start of the civil war, the start of real fight. According to UCMJ, that would be treason if it happened in the USA. Of course, it'd be treason. I think in the USA, everything that is happening in Russia right now would be considered treason. Okay, private armies. I don't even know where to start. Jason Carney has given the sponsorship to 5 people. Thank you, Jason. Thank you again. I appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Darla, sorry I missed this. We'll listen to it in a few. Happy early Father's Day. Father's Day. When is Father's Day? Coming up? Thank you. This is one of the best presents I have received. Well, you know that. I'm so proud of it. From the USA. Sean, howdy. 18 coffees. Wow. Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much. That's $100. 10 here and 18 in Buy Me a Coffee. Thank you so much. Russia was in a strong economic state and in excellent position to bridge between the West and China and Asia. Huge potential. Gone. No more. The Lulu Channel News. Big hugs. Plus 18 coffees. Look, Sean, you're so right. You're I think the wisest guy here, okay? Because every time you open your mouth, like every time Putin opens his mouth, there's a lie comes out. Every time you open your mouth, there's on the channel and off the channel too, you know, is a wisdom comes out. So I can't ever argue with that, and there's no point to argue. You're absolutely right, and whoever said that was also right. Russia was in a hugely strong economic state, excellent position, geographical position, economical position, historical position. You know, it could shine. They did incredible, not tragic crime, they destroyed Russia. Okay, they destroyed it for Russians. They destroyed it for the rest of the world. Russia had many problems also. Okay, and then the Russians are not the easiest people to get along with. But you know what? It was also all of that was reversible. We changed in 1991. I still remember. We all still remember. We could change more. And then comes along comes the spider. Grace Philosophy, my dear friend, I hope you're doing much better. Thank you so much for coming. Thanks for showing up. Thank you for the stream. I'm happy to attend. I'm praying for you, precious family, the amazing mods. Grace, your message is always heartwarming and touching. Thank you from me and my family and from the mods. We pray for you every day. We will so today. So I hope that you are getting better, and you know, fantastic to see you. Thank you. KG1, I saw that the Ukrainian Nazis propaganda was rolled out in force at the conference. can't comment on that. I'm still looking at the conference because there's too much going on. I simply don't know. There looks like there's a double message. Same thing. Amanda, howdy, howdy. Father's Day is Sunday. Hope you enjoy the much needed break. As for the message, Putin must be suffering from cognitive decline. You know, I was thinking about that. Thank you, Amanda. First of all, thanks for clarifying. Thank you. I was thinking about if he's suffering from mental illness or something like that, cognitive decline. There must be people who are around him who are managing him, so to speak, who are controlling him, making him speak certain things, making him say certain things, making him, move certain way, making him meet certain people and so forth. That is possible. I don't know whether it's true or not, but it's possible. Diana from New Zealand, howdy, and thank you so much for showing up and supporting. Greetings, Konstantin. My support for your work. What you're doing is inspirational. Just a small token. Kindest regards, Diana Celine. Diana, thank you so very much. Fantastic to see you. It's great to see everyone from New Zealand because it's too far, and that you folks just kind of like show that this world is a small place. It's a small world, and then we're all an online community that is throughout the world, like in real life, but we're all right here in our minds and in our thoughts. So thank you so very much. Fantastic to have you, and thanks for the support. Brian Woods, congrats once again, a master class in economics, politics, and humor. Wasn't much humor. It was lots of how do you say that? Gorich. Hang on, I'll translate that word. Gorich. Hang on, please. Bitterness. There you go. It was bitter. Not much humor. Not much economics. Not much politics. It was a masterclass in busting lies, basically. And it's not even a masterclass. You don't have to be an expert or master to bust his lies. You just have to use a little bit of your brain. Thank you, Brian. Thank you so much. Pinda the Peanut. Tsar Putin's problem, wanting to be deliberately selectively informed, proclaiming his views as strong, original, and genius. The modern world will crush him. You're right. It's not a question. It's a statement. I just would like to add this. The modern world has already crushed them. It's just a matter of time. Titanic has been hit. It has been taking water, and the compartments are full. Titanic is going down, down, down. Brownwin, howdy, howdy, and thank you from Australia. Don't make the live streams, but I'm still a big fan and watch every day. You look well. Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much. We'll have my haircut tomorrow, and we'll shave a little bit, and we'll be running around all day, getting ready to depart. You know how it is before. I decided last night. Michael was asking me for a long time to go and spend some time at a water park with him, and I did. But I could not spend much time, and the water parks here are not the best. And I decided, just it's too much. I was running around. I was kept on thinking of different things while being with him. So I figured I just need to unplug, and we all need to change location for just at least a couple days, and that's what we're doing. So, friend, thank you so much for your support and nice words. Black Cat has just given the sponsorship on the channel to 5 people. Thank you, thank you, thank you, friend. So again, this is English breakfast. This is English breakfast after Uzbekistan midnight. English people, you're absolutely awesome. You came up with the best tea in the world. Well, somehow your tea is the best. Although you don't grow it in England or in the UK, you definitely have it the best. And there are so many questions that I missed without super chats. Pure Tone, howdy. James Rhodes. White Lightning, thank you so much. 5 sponsorships to 5 people. Thank you from me and from 5 people. New sponsors, please come back tomorrow, noon Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. London, and no, not 7, 6 p.m. London, and 9 a.m. Los Angeles. So there will be a private stream. Usually fewer people, slower paced, more talk of personal things, and I answer, and it's fun. That's my best stream of the week usually. Tick tock, Dave Strain. You're right, so right, Dave. You are so right. I should have added in the stream at the end. Tick tock. The crocodile is very close. The guy knows it. The guy knows that he's toast. The guy, I'm telling you, he knows. I'm sorry, is this someone's birthday? Lorna, would you please let me know if I'm missing someone's birthday? Serious Holger, I agree with you. I thought of it too. He's becoming Truman in a Truman show, in a Putin show. So mods, anyone? Is there anyone's birthday that I missed? I'm sorry. I just saw the icons of ice cream flying around. Scorpion N, greetings from Lithuania. Is that true that Adidas is returning to Russia? If so, why would they do that? Rumors, I've heard some rumors. I cannot confirm it. I would like to investigate, so I will give you the true information, and coming up within a couple weeks. Either a video or a live stream on the companies who have left and who have stayed. I have not heard of anyone definitely came back, but we'll see. Thanks for the question. Dive Crew Canada, mine on Monday. We'll definitely sing to you. Thank you. Well, it's hot enough for an ice cream. You scream. Yes, hot here in Tashkent, let me tell you. But I stopped eating ice cream. Janice Burgess. I just bought Twinings English breakfast tea. You have me intrigued. Going to try it now. You please let us know. What do you think? You take 1.5 teaspoon into, it depends on size of your teapot, and you brew it in boiling water. You boil water, you pour into your teapot, and you keep it for about 5-6 minutes, and then it's ready. Please let us know. What you make out of English breakfast? Twinings, right? Yes, Twinings. Good stuff. Linas, why are you so sure or lean towards that Putin can't use tactical nukes? What is the reasoning behind? Also, greetings from Lithuania. Lithuania, I've been to Lithuania once, Klaipėda. I have relatives there. believe it or not. Distant relatives, but fantastic city, good people, and good country. I believe that Putin will not use tactical nukes. Your question is a little wrong. You says why Putin can't use. I never said he can't use. He can, but he will not. Because first of all, there is more than one person involved. Putin does not have the button itself. He cannot press the button at will. Okay, there are 8 levels involved, and even if he gives an order, it's 99% that the order will not be executed. Second, he knows that as soon as he uses tactical, well, whatever, nuclear weapon, then that's it. That's just the end for him. Russia will be a subject of multiple strikes. Russian army will be evaporated, and him personally, he will be killed physically. This will be the end. Now, you see, he still is at the power. He still holds his power, and he has different options. They're elusive, but he still has them. He knows tactical, any kind of missile, nuclear weapon, all options are gone. He's gone. That's why I believe he will not use them. Grace, I wrote under a post yesterday, but I'm slowly but surely getting better. Fantastic news. The prayers you pray for me here in the community, very precious. Well, it's very precious to us, you and your family and your granddaughters. Thank you so much. Lorna and Mommy, they sent me. I did not read the post after under the stream. Unfortunately, I just didn't read any posts today, but they sent me. Before the stream, I saw it. I will definitely respond. I'll write you, respond. I will respond on Patreon. Thank you. I don't get it. Who's Dirk? You are really confusing me. You know, I'm all about this white trees now. Whose birthday is this? Happy birthday to who? George Rames. I also heard that, but it's rumors. There's no way to prove it. Mr. Kaliskin, howdy. I don't know what they're drinking. They must be smoking something. Amir is giving everyone a great advice. Thank you. Engage brain before typing. That's a good advice. Elizabeth De Silva says, hi, Kistantine. It's good enough, you know. You can call me Kistantine. You can call me anything. Thank you. Great to see you. Thank you so much. Super Rosie. Putin met 12 military journalists. Oh, that's just, that's a shame. All sitting cheek by a jaw at the table seemed so unlikely after all the times he has met, even with high-ranked people at 30 meters distance, body double. There was a scandal today. They were 12 military journalists, right? Independent, supposedly. Vajenkory. And one of them was given an interview, they were asking him questions, and they said something. And all those journalists, you gotta understand, they had been reporting from the front lines. They've been writing, oh, this is what's going on, and then this guy comes out and they ask him, like, what about the interview? He goes, what about it? That was just an interview, and a week before, we were all, myself included, were sitting isolated in a quarantine. to make sure we don't have COVID or anything like that. So all those 12 military journalists, well, 11 apparently, were lying because they were not on the front lines. They were sitting in isolation under supervision of Putin bodyguards to make sure that, they're not sick. This just shows you how things are organized in today's Russia, in the Russian government, And I think that 30 meters distance, not this time, is definitely a sign of a body double. Merit to KGB says in Russia, English tea is everywhere in the supermarkets. That's right. But you know what? I tried for years and years and years. And you can trust me on that. I'm an expert in tea. In Russia, English tea in the supermarkets, it's not the same tea as you buy it outside Russia. It's much lower quality, I should say. And it costs the same. And it goes for a lot of products in Russia because it's not the foreign manufacturers that, are conspired against Russia and Russian consumers. No, it's the Russian way of doing business to cut the corners. If you have a pack of tea, high quality tea, that costs, let's say, $10, you can mix it up with lower grade tea and sell it for more than you would have sold otherwise. This is the Russian way of doing business. You know that. If you live in Russia, you know that as much as I do. So Twinings English breakfast in Russia tastes absolutely different than the stuff that you buy in Dubai or even here in Uzbekistan. Yorkshire tea is the best. Craig, well, I agree. My most favorite tea is Yorkshire Gold. Unfortunately, the only place I can buy it is Dubai, here, around this part of the woods. And I ran out of it. The next time I'm in Dubai, I'm going to buy a truckload. Dive Crew Canada, I think Constant drinks more of that British tea than British actually do. Oh, you'd be surprised. They drink lots of tea. Time is up, says Nightbot. Alright, thanks for letting me know. Gonna be wrapping up soon. How about a stream on your childhood fun times in the USSR? Let me write it down. Good idea. Fun times in the USSR. Point taken. We'll think about it. Thank you. Jeffrey S. is requesting turquoise boss shirt on Saturday stream. Who is the mystery guest, if any? Young Scott would like dating advice on Polish queens. Recommend you. Mr. Humor Advisor of the channel. Well, you will see tomorrow. Tomorrow is Saturday. Tomorrow is Saturday stream, so... But turquoise boss shirt it is. Yes, will do. All right, folks. Thank you so much. Constantine. Amanda, you can spell my name anyhow you want to. You have my permission. Thank you so much, friends. We'll be wrapping up. Let's finish with a prayer. As we usually do, if you're religious, please do. If you're not, please do join me anyway, because we just call it differently. But join us in sending good vibes, energy, good wishes to different people. That's what we're all about, right? So please join me in prayer. Let's do it. Dear Lord Jesus Christ, thank you so much for giving us this day. Thank you for surrounding us with people who we love and who love us. Thank you for giving us pleasant times, good memories, good experiences. Thank you for putting food on our tables and giving roofs over our heads. Please give us wisdom to keep the skies above our children's heads clear and peaceful, and to raise our children in a way that when they grow up, they will make this world a better place, and they will do a better job running it than we have done. For now, dear Lord, please keep our children safe and healthy. Please stop the bloodshed in Ukraine. Do all you need to do. Reach out people you need to touch. Fill their hearts with good feelings, please. Mercy, remorse, love, forgiveness. Give them kick in their butts. Do something so they wake up from the lethargic sleep, and those who are responsible and capable will make the decision to stop the bloodshed in Ukraine. Please help every Ukrainian who has been affected, answer their prayers, and make their wishes come true, please. Send every single Ukrainian an angel, so the angels will keep people away from harm's way. Dear Lord, please help my country assemble your heavenly, strongest army of your strongest angels with sharpest swords, led by Saint Michael in shining armor, and send them to this earth to come down and get rid of the demons that have hijacked my country and are destroying it. Please get rid of them. Have angels run Russia. Have angels make it peaceful, loving, loved, respected, good, and not feared. Please send safe travels to everyone who is traveling. Send help and good people to everyone seeking for asylum. Send your love to all people who are in need right now. Shine your light onto them and onto the ones who are sick, hungry, homeless, jobless, depressed, feeling down, not feeling good about themselves, struggling with their faith. Please shine your light upon them. Surround them with your warmth and fill their hearts with love, so they will feel better about themselves and about their lives, and they will become happy again. Thank you. Please help everyone who is helping Ukraine right now, opening their hearts, wallets, homes. God bless them. Please help single mothers who are raising children, struggling, trying to make ends meet. Please send help their way. Help those who are in southern Ukraine suffering and are endangered by the flooding that happened recently. Please send angels to help everyone out there, and please help all the Ukrainians who are suffering from Russian strikes and Russian actions in general. Dear Lord, thank you so much for allowing us to congregate into this community, get together every day. Thank you for allowing us to pray together. Please help everyone who is praying or simply watching us pray right now. Answer everyone's prayer and make everyone's wish come true. Thank you, dear Lord. There are people I would like to mention who really needs your help. They are Wayne, fighting with cancer. Thank you for partially helping, and please, Wayne needs more of your help. Shirley, Debbie, Jen Allen, Finola, Lars Henrik's mother, the Highwayman, Essie from the Scottish Isles, Outlander and family, Choriz and family, David Porter and family, and everyone who is in Chernovtsi, Ukraine, Lazarus, Lars, Susan Marshall, Beulah, Boss Simon, Alvin, and his sister, Teresa D., Terry Carter, Joe and Lee McMahon, Meta Spencer, Deanna and her family, Bree's friend, Caroline, Albina Fell, Michael Yukon, Pamela J., Daniel 9, Lindsay, Joel, Life, Karin Vasseur, Larry, Brittany S., Yelena, Natasha, Jake, Michael, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Bonnie, Svetlana, Karen, Michael Milkevitz, Paul Beans, Richard, Mallory M., Dirk Misler, Linda, Terry, Angelic Cat Life, and Scan Family's grandson, Randolph, Barb, Harry's family, Verlinda's niece, Ian James, King Nero, Gaby Hyman, Donald, Deborah, Lisa's son, Jade Kaltenberg, Allison Dave Moyers, Maureen M. and her sister, Bob, Matt, Kayleen, Heidi, Mr. Dean Spooner and his church called Our Savior Lutheran Church, Lisa Cumrian, Jacob, Adam, Amy, Grace Philosophy. Please send her recovery, speed the recovery, and shine your heavenly light upon her family and wonderful granddaughters. Maggie, Carmen's sister, Vladislav and Sergey, Susie Mailer, Gina, Wayfarer, Liz, Lori, Miles' husband, Sherry, Layla, Philip's mother, Thomas Fall's mother, Frank in Texas, Margaret, Linda RT, Sarah Stokes, James Gentz, China Bill, Julia Haney, Yorkie Mom, Hannah, Vasilian Lubamirov, Susie Mailer, struggling with migraines, Greg, Jim and Shirley Hall, Ann Larson, her family and daughter Hannah, Florentina, Max family, Patty L., Sherry Morin, CKOC, Brian Wilkes, Liz Dumbrell and her family, Ripted, daughter of Aspen English, Ruth, Paul, Susan, Rudy Kaisley, Darla, Alona and her boys, Bip, Santa's Whiskey, Paula McDonald, White Lightning, George Ruberty, Dave Strains, Pam, and a few special children I would like to ask for. They are Cadence, Maverick, Sebastian, Coulter, Ava, Karin Vasseur's niece, and Ansley, Madi. Please help them, send recovery, and send strength to their families. Also, I'm asking for all children from Ukraine and Russia that have been affected by the war. Please help them and their loved ones, the parents. And please help all the children who are not feeling well, regardless where they are. Send them recovery, and send them relief, please. Thank you so much, dear Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. My friends, thank you so very much. You're absolutely fantastic. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for good words, priceless words. Thanks for the financial support. You are fantastic. You are absolutely rock and roll. I will see sponsors and patrons tomorrow at the usual time, and I will see everyone either on Monday or Tuesday. Before I go and sign off, I would like to ask everyone to say along with me the usual: Carthago delenda est.